Examine the role of memory in intelligence and your overall productivity. And many people don't associate memory and intelligence, but it actually has a huge correlation to intelligence. Let's explore why. But first of all, there are different kinds of memory. Let's start with short term memory. Every moment, we have many, many stimuli bombarding us. We cross the street, there's many cars, many lights, many people, but we can only select a few. Our brains usually hold seven plus or minus two things in our short term memory. That's called Miller's Law. We can hold those things for 7 to 10 seconds. Different people with different age and different cognitive ability, they can hold it a little longer, some hold it a little shorter. This gets worse with age. Short-term memory does get worse with age. Now let's talk about how to contrast that with long-term memory. These are things that you can remember when you're old. You'll remember some things in your childhood because you have strong neurological connections in some things. A lot of things that you go over many, many times, some things you have emotional connection to, some things just get in your long-term memory. And once things are in your long-term memory, they generally stay there. Now, between your long-term memory and your short-term memory, you have what's called working memory. And your working memory is about 30 seconds. And whereas in your short-term memory, you can only keep things there. You cannot reason over those things. You just remember them. The working memory is the memory where the reasoning and thinking happens. So the more things you can keep in your working memory, the more things you can reason over for longer, which makes your thinking stronger and your decision making better. So the goal, of course, is to hold and process more information in your working memory. Obviously, also, the more you focus on things in your working memory, the more you can associate it to your emotions, other things, and so your neurological connections also become better, and you'll have a higher chance to retain those things longer term. Of course, things that immediately make your working memory worse are distractions, if you're groggy, if you didn't get enough sleep. You have to fight to minimize distractions and stay mentally alert. Good diet, enough sleep, exercise, all those things that regularly recur. Also, just using your memory, your brain, thinking longer, playing brain training games, all those sorts of things. Of course, this is like a muscle that you're training, and your memory will become a little better. Now, let me give you an example of, let's say, a person. There's a fire, and a person has to go into a fire and save someone. Well, a person who can hold fewer things in their working memory are more likely to take risk because they're less likely to think about all the negative sides of risk. They're going to get burned. Their life is going to get ruined. They're going to lose health and everything. And so they're losing a lot, right? If they had more time to think about this, if they can process more of the information, they probably would be a lot more deterred from going into the fire. But if they just impulsively act on the action, they'll go into the fire and they'll maybe help somebody. So there's a lot of studies that show that people of action, like athletes, people who work dangerous jobs, they tend to be able to hold just a little less things in their working memory. Whereas just because if they process the risk of injury, they likely wouldn't do it what they're doing. In your case, because it is important to think of the risk of negative outcomes. It might not be injury, but it might be bad business decisions or bad things happening at work before you get into an altercation, anything like that. You also see that always comes up. Just give yourself more time to think, more time to process, and that's actually going to help to protect you from having a lot of bad things happen that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to process the chance of that happening. So that's just an example. But really, what's useful in everyday moment sort of things are keep yourself mentally alert, use your memory, use your reasoning a lot, and you'll become better at it. You'll hold more things and you'll make more complex decisions for your life, and it's going to help you with your productivity and it's going to help you accomplish more things and do things better every day.